All right, let's talk about marketing. You might not think about it much, but it's this kind of invisible force that's shaping the choices you make every single day. I mean, from the clothes you're wearing right now to the apps on your phone, marketing had a hand in it.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. Why did you pick the phone you're using? Or even the coffee you drank this morning? Was it just the price, the features, or was it something else? You know, whether you realize it or not, the real answers are all tangled up in the world of marketing. And today, we're going to untangle it all and decode exactly how it works.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. We've got to start with the most fundamental question of all, right? What exactly is marketing?
So here's the textbook definition. It's a process, identifying needs, developing products, promoting them, and making a profit. But really, it's so much more than just flashy ads. I like to think of it more like a journey. The journey always starts with understanding people. Then you move on to creating something they'll genuinely find valuable. And the final destination? It's all about building a real, lasting relationship with them.
Yeah, and the goals here go way beyond just making a single sale. I mean, sure, you want to increase sales and profits, but great marketing is about satisfying what your customers actually need. It's also about creating awareness so people even know you exist. And then you're building that kind of loyalty that keeps them coming back for more. You do all that, and you'll get a real edge over the competition.
So if that very first step is all about identifying customer needs, well, that brings us to a really logical next point, doesn't it? You absolutely 100% have to know your customer.
Okay, so first things first, let's just quickly define what a market even is. It's not just a physical building, you know? It could be your local farmer's market, a huge chain of stores, or heck, the entire internet. Basically, it's just anywhere a buyer and a seller can meet up and make an exchange happen.
That leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? How in the world do businesses know what we, the customers, actually want? They can't just guess, right? That would be a disaster. They need some kind of system to figure out what people are really looking for.
And that's where market research comes in. This is literally the engine room of all marketing. Think about it. By collecting and analyzing information, through surveys, focus groups, that kind of stuff, companies can actually make smart, informed decisions. It helps guide everything from the price they set to the design of the product. And maybe most importantly, it reduces the massive risk of launching something that absolutely nobody wants. Huge.
All right, so let's say a business has done its homework. They know who their customer is. Now what? How do they actually put a plan into action? Well, funny you should ask, because it turns out there's a classic recipe for that.
Yeah, for decades, marketers have relied on this foundational recipe. You could almost call it a secret formula for successfully bringing pretty much any product to market.
And here it is. It's called the marketing mix, but everybody knows it by a much simpler name, the 4 Ps. Just think of these as the 4 main levers a business can pull to influence how much people want their product. Let's break them down, one by one.
First up, pen number 1 is product. Okay, simple enough, this is the thing you're actually selling. But wait, it's so much more than just the physical item itself. We're talking about decisions on its quality, the look and feel of the design, the branding, even the packaging it comes in. All these little things work together to shape how we feel about it.
Next up, we have price. Now, this is where things get really interesting, because pricing is never just a random number. It's a super delicate balancing act. On one side of the scale, you've got your own costs, what it takes to make the thing. But on the other side, you've got all these outside pressures, like what your competitors are charging, how much people are actually willing to pay, and sometimes even government regulations.
Our third P is place. This is all about distribution. The big question here is, how does the product actually get into your hands? I mean, are you buying it in a retail shop, straight from a website, through a wholesaler? Getting the place right is absolutely critical, because it's all about making it convenient for the customer.
And finally, we land on promotion. Now, this is the one that most of us think of when we hear the word marketing, right? The ads. But it's way more than that. It's how you communicate with your customers, and it's a whole mix of things. Advertising, yeah, but also sales promotions, personal selling, public relations, the whole shebang. And here's the secret sauce. The real magic happens when all 4 Ps work together in perfect harmony. Think about it. A premium product needs a premium price, sold in a selective place, and backed by the right kind of promotion. If you change just one of those Ps, you have to completely rethink all the others.
Okay, so the 4 Ps give you all the tools you need. But to truly succeed, you have to build something that really lasts in the customer's mind.
And that is where branding comes in. Branding is really the art of creating a unique, distinct identity. It's the name, it's the logo, but it's also that feeling you get when you use a product. It's the reason one can of soda or one smartphone can feel totally, completely different from another, even if they're pretty similar on paper.
And this is why it matters so much. A really strong brand just cuts through all the noise out there, right? It makes it easy for us to make a choice. It builds trust over time, and that trust creates loyalty. And ultimately, it carves out a unique little space for a product in what is usually a very crowded market.
You know, when you really boil it all down, the research, the 4 Ps, the branding, it's all driving toward one ultimate goal: customer satisfaction. That's the end game. It's about a business actually delivering on its promise and creating an experience that makes you, the customer, feel genuinely happy that you chose them.
But with all this power to influence our choices, there's also a huge amount of responsibility. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, the rules of the game and the importance of ethics.
You see, marketing can go down 2 very different paths. On one side, you've got ethical marketing. This is all built on honesty. We're talking truthful promotions, fair prices, quality products. But then there's the other path, the unethical one. That path relies on deception, things like false advertising, crazy overpricing, or even selling harmful stuff. And let's be clear, real long-term success is almost always built on that first, ethical path.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway here? Marketing isn't just a straight line. It's a continuous cycle. It's a whole system that begins with the customer and it ends with the customer. It's about using that careful mix of product, price, place, and promotion, not just to sell something one time, but to build real, lasting value.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In today's world, which is just dominated by social media and influencers, has this classic formula changed? Which one of those 4 Ps, product, price, place, or promotion, do you think matters the most right now? It's a great question to think about. Thanks for joining me.